Hi friends, it's been a while since I've come by through here. Just wanted to say hello to each and every one of you, amen, and share some thoughts. For the last 3 weeks, I have been in Puerto Rico. I came out here because my dad was having emergency open heart surgery, and so I'm out here, and it's not a vacation. I've been here to be with my dad, and it's not you know so easy to adapt when you're used to certain ways of living in the States, right? I'm from New York, living in Jersey, and so it's been challenging for me. um, my skin is breaking out in spots. If anybody knows what I can do about that, I do have sunscreen on, but I'm getting spots on my face. It's always a bad hair day out here. For the most part, I usually have my hair up, and I've been um, lamb of sacrifice for mosquitoes. My legs. These mosquitoes are so aggressive that off doesn't keep them off. Yeah. But that's been my experience. Other than that, my dad is recovering well, and I thank God for that. He's recovering well, and he serves the Lord, and so God's been very, very faithful with that. Amen. Now, I don't know what it's been like for you. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know if your situation may be, you know, an adaptation, an adapting. I don't even know if I said the word correctly, right? Sometimes I forget my English being here. But it may be that you're not adapting to something, right? Like me, my skin is not adapting. My hair is not adapting. And it's hard. We're in the mountains up here in Gurabo. And so, to be in the mountains and be from the city, it's a difference, and I've never been one to, like, not that I don't enjoy nature. I really don't enjoy mosquitoes and bugs. I don't like them. I never went camping because I never liked the idea. But sometimes we just don't adapt to things, but we must go through them, right? And maybe your problem is adapting. Maybe your problem is adapting to being single again. Maybe your problem is adapting to being that single mother or that single father. Maybe your situation is adapting to having to downsize, adapting to a new career, a new boss, new responsibilities, adapting to becoming a mom or becoming a dad. Or maybe it's adapting to becoming sober again, and knowing that you cannot run to the things you used to run to before to numb your pain, which didn't work. It just bound you up in a spiraling staircase to a hell of addiction, right? Made your life a living hell. And so maybe it's whatever it is that you're trying to adapt to. It's a challenge. But if that change and that adapting comes forth because something good is happening, or even something bad brought upon the change and you couldn't control it, like a divorce or separation, a loss of someone, adapting to being a widow, adapting to losing your job. We know that God has a plan. And I've always said, never would it look like God has a plan. And at times we feel we're not adapting. At times we feel like it's taking a while. I remember when I first moved to Jersey, I miss New York, but the very first time I moved to Jersey years ago in 2007, then I went back, I came back and forth. But the first time, the whole year I was homesick. But I had to because I couldn't afford the rents in New York at the time, and I was single mom. And there was a lot going on with my kids. It was a lot of stuff that it was just having to adapt was very difficult. And I had to adapt getting up at 5:30 in the morning to go to work all the way in New York in the Bronx because I wanted to remain working there because I had to check on my kids, check on them. Two younger ones did not want to move to Jersey. They did everything. They turned my life upside down just to not make a move. And then they were with their grandma. Then there was one was in a hospital, and then the other one was on his own. He was already a young adult and wanted to have his own place. And believe me, adapting and having to know that I was like miles away, but I kept my job, and I did it on purpose. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, not so much just because I needed to get to work, but because I needed to be near my kids. I needed to be able to, after work, go and check on everyone. It didn't matter if I got home at 1 in the morning to get up again at 5:30, not even earlier, to be able to make it out, to be at the office by 9. So adapting back then was a challenge, but after a year I adapted. And what turned out to happen was that I realized that I like Jersey a lot. Now in 2012, I moved back to New York. That's a whole other story. And what ended up happening was that I realized that my heart was in Jersey. And so adapting to New York again was a little difficult. Eventually, I moved back to Jersey, but it wasn't because I had to. I mean, no, it was because I had to. It wasn't because I wanted to. Yeah. I had a sewer problem in my apartment, and I could not find anything within a week. I'm talking about the sewer was going to blow up and go above my waist. And, everything, I could have came back to the apartment. It was a wonderful place to be at. I love the area. It connected me to Yonkers, Mount Vernon. I was right there, North Bronx. I loved it. But God had a plan, and I moved to Jersey. And I thought I'd be there just for a year. And I was in a relationship where I thought I was going to get married. At least that's what that person made me think. But that didn't happen because that person didn't turn out to be who they said they were. So then I had to adapt to being alone again. And I had to adapt to what I do now. Or I had to adapt to new changes. So life has been full of changes in which I've had to adapt to. But as I adapted to these things, I realized that God had a plan, and eventually the puzzle pieces fell in order. Eventually, everything made sense. For me, for my kids, for my life, everything. And even though now I'm in a place of adaptation, is that even a word? Is that the right word to use? Anyway, you school professors, let me know. You know what? I'm here for a purpose and a plan. And of course I'm going back home to Jersey. But in the meanwhile, I got to adapt. And I have to make it the best that I can for my dad's recovery. And which being with him is priceless, right? I don't know, I rambled so much today. But wherever you're at, whatever's going on, I pray the Lord helps you in the adapting process. I pray that you can see what it is that God is trying to show you through it. I pray that it all at some point makes sense to you. Because what doesn't make sense now will make sense later. Amen? Besos in house.